Welcome to the First Congregational United Church of Christ in Alpena, Michigan. I welcome you in our welcoming entry hallway, even though we are not allowed to come in together to congregate. Still, we welcome you. The banner in front of you shows some crocuses growing. We have similar ones out in our yard, and it's a joyful thing to see the color coming back again to spring. The quote on the banner is from the Apostle Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, when he says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That is something we can do even in our stay-at-home, shut-down, quarantine isolation. Today I wanted to bring a few remarks that we found in the Alpena News, as well as just encourage you to continue to hold your mind in a transforming and renewing way and not let the cabin fever of this time get you down. I'm Rev Lance, minister here at the church, and I wanted to share with you a couple of thoughts. The first one is the church office itself is open. The building is open. For people that need to use restrooms, our restrooms are open. Mike, our custodian, comes in every morning and wipes down all the door handles, all the light switches, the elevator button, everything so that people can feel free to know this is a clean location. Hardly anyone stops by. Our church secretary, Bree Fasnacht, is here during her days, and she's the one who uploads this to the YouTube and passes it around on Facebook, so I'm grateful for her continued work here in the church. And to that end, I wanted to bring a message from the Alpena News. Yesterday's newspaper had an article in here, and I'd like to quote it. It says, "Grocery workers are key during the virus. Every day, grocery workers are restocking toilet paper, eggs, produce, and canned goods as fast as the items fly off the shelf. They disinfect keypads, freezer handles, and checkout counters as hundreds of people weave around them, sometimes standing too close for comfort amid the coronavirus pandemic. Some work for hours behind clear plastic barriers installed at checkout counters, bulwarks against sudden sneezes or coughs that can propel germs. They aren't doctors or nurses, and yet they have been praised for their dedication by Pope Francis, former U.S. President Barack Obama, and countless people on social media as infections and death counts continue to rise." I mention that because our church secretary, Bree Fasnacht, is a checkout person. Her permanent work is with Meyer here in Alpena. She is putting in not only regular hours, full-time work, but she's also putting in overtime. And so she's tired. It makes her more vulnerable. She's out among the public. So please, in your prayers this week, continue to hold Bree Fasnacht and all of our grocery workers in your prayers. A word, too. Lynn Borke's daughter, Caitlin, has gotten a job during this lockdown period working for Meyer down in Kalamazoo, where she's going to college. So again, all of those workers, we praise them and hold them in our prayers. A second thing that was in the Alpena News just yesterday, I would like to share with you. This is the Dear Annie column. Annie Lane writes on page 3B, "We are living in unprecedented times, with many states imposing mandatory lockdowns and so many of our healthcare workers on the front lines. I wanted to offer a few thoughts. First is a huge thank you to those doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers who are dealing with this pandemic as the whole country is trying to get it under control. Thank you to all of the citizens who've been following the government guidelines and staying home, practicing social distancing, and washing hands. If we all do our part and stay home, this will end much sooner than if we don't listen to what the experts are saying. I care so much about all of you, and I am praying everyone stays safe and healthy." Here is a beautiful poem by Kitty O'Mara, who has a lovely take on our dealing with and eventual recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. "And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. Here are some fun daily quarantine questions that you can ask yourself. Number one, what am I grateful for today? As I mentioned, the crocuses that are growing in our yard, and this quarantine time where we're able to get out and do the gardening and rake up the leaves that had come down last Halloween. Number two, who am I checking in on and interacting with today? Let's be intentional about that. I invited you yesterday to call the church, 356-1795, and offer either to Bree or to myself or to the answering machine a prayer concern that you have, a joy you want to share. And we can then do that, add that to our prayer life here at the church. Third, what beauty or art am I creating or appreciating today? We have the time now to look at things we don't take time to look at, to pause and reflect, to create something with music, art, a story you want to write, a poem that wants to come out, or appreciation of those that have come out that we can take the time to enjoy. Fourth, how am I moving my body today for exercise? Oh, we can get cabin fever real quick. We can be sedentary. We can just simply sit there and watch all those TV reruns and all those Netflix. It's okay, our mind can be stretched, but we need to move as well. Number five, have I been outside in nature today? Oh, I encourage you, we've been very fortunate not to have a snow-blown, blizzardy kind of time to be indoors. We can get out. We can breathe that fresh air and see the colors and hear the birds. Sixth, what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? And what am I doing instead? Yes, these are unprecedented times. That which has been normal in the economy, in our daily routines, in our connecting with one another, are not allowed at this time, mandated to do things differently. Live within yourself, your family, your home. Get into those things that you've put off for so long and enjoy life itself. Be still and know, says God, that I am God. Be still and know that I am with you. I know you. I created you. I've known you since you were little. I've been with you on this whole journey, and I will be with you today and always. Those promises are ours. Let us transform our lives by the renewing of our minds in this time together. May God bless you, safe, healthy, whole, at home. Amen.